Imagine living your life after 50 and feeling energized and excited about your future. Welcome to the Women in the Middle podcast, the podcast for women who are ready to figure out what they want and create the life they deserve. Here's your host and Master Certified Life Coach, Susie Rosenstein.
Hey there, welcome back to the podcast, Women in the Middle. I'm your host, Susie Rosenstein, your Master Certified Coach and Midlife Mentor. And once again, I'm so glad to be here with you for this week's episode, which is all about worrying about looking your age. Now, if you find these kinds of thoughts popping into your mind on occasion, you are not alone. So pause your worry for a few minutes as you're listening, and we'll take a good, close look at the whole topic. Now, as you're putting yourself first right now listening to this episode, I wanted to make sure that you knew about Finally First. It's my monthly coaching program where I teach you all the good stuff to help you get excited about your life again. There are monthly lessons, chances for me to help you apply the concepts you're learning in your actual life, and we'll also get to know each other because I'm available as your coach and midlife mentor as well. I'm also there to answer your questions, and just like the whales that I adore, take a deep dive into your thought work so you can finally get unstuck and move forward. And you know what else? You get to hang out and connect with like-minded women. When you join this special community, you become what I like to call a first lady. It's absolutely wonderful to know firsthand that you're not alone. Now, the doors are opening again on October 5th, 2020. So if you're curious about how you can finally put yourself first, get on the VIP waitlist now at www.IamFinallyFirst.com so you don't miss a thing. This is a great way to finally get out of your own way, get unstuck, and stop feeling so blah so you can really move forward and stop wasting valuable time. I would love to have you join us in the Finally First Club. Okay, let's get going. Today we're talking about worrying about looking your age, and as I said, you're not the only one doing this. Now, you don't have to be a fancy person to have this worry. That's what I grew up calling women who were pulled together and looked gorgeous all of the time with a fancy purse and shoes. You don't need to be fancy, and you don't need to be vain or stuck up to have these thoughts either. You could just be a regular old woman in the middle, doing normal things, looking like a normal gal, thinking thoughts about looking your age every now and again. I think looking our age is more than wrinkles, turkey neck, and crepey skin. Today, I want to talk about looking your age in 3 ways: appearance, perception, and reinvention, or specifically the need for reinvention. Okay, let's start with appearance. This is a totally common thing that women in the middle think about when it comes to worrying about looking their age. But guess who else is worrying about the same thing? I was pretty surprised to find out that women today typically start worrying about their age way younger than we did, by about 26. Can you believe that? A company called Dermstore did some research. They polled 2,000 women across the country, and they found that young women today have started using these products to stay looking younger, to try not to see, the signs of aging way sooner than women our age did. And that the average millennial was starting to use these types of anti-aging products at 26 versus women our age who typically started much later, like in their late 40s. Yikes, right? Can you believe this? I'm pretty sure that you were not doing this when you were 26. Think back for a second. What were you doing at 26? I was much more excited about mascara and lipstick. I was very focused on mascara. I was in my first professional job just after grad school, and I spent a fair bit on clothes because I was coming out of grad school. I didn't have anything nice, and I needed suits back then. Suits, and I was definitely wearing pantyhose and heels. Do you remember that? It is so different now. But one of the things that's different now is I'm very focused on my 10 times magnification mirror, as I'm sure you might be too, looking at all kinds of things from chin hair to wrinkles more often than I like to admit. And I've spoken about these things in other episodes. Check the show notes. I'll link to them. So with worrying about looking old in terms of appearance, when I do it, I focus on my lips, the little lines at the top, and sometimes how the lipstick will bleed a little bit. I focus on jowls. Don't like the jowls. And my hands. Starting to see some age spots, and, the texture of my hands just looks a little different. And I think they make me look older. Now, I wouldn't say that I worry about it, but for sure, duly noted, and I might buy the occasional product. And then there's gray hair. Now, I have lighter colored hair, and gray hair is not a big issue, but I have certainly talked to many women in the middle about this and done 2 podcast episodes about it. So again, I will link to those if you want to, listen to more of the issues and thoughts associated with gray hair. Now, love it or leave it when it comes to gray hair. It's something that has probably caused you some degree of worry over the years. Many of us are thinking and talking and, spending money on gray hair. Now, the other thing I hear a lot about in my community is aging arms. So many of us weren't that comfortable with our arms for the longest time anyway, and then it just seems to go south. I remember my mom retired from a pretty physically demanding nursing job, and she noticed that her arms got way less toned pretty quickly after she retired, and she was not crazy about that. And now when it comes to appearance, it's not just about skin and hair, though. It's also about clothes. Do you worry that your clothes are making you look old these days? What does that mean to you? Granny panties, perhaps? Or your favorite ski jacket from the 90s? Undies that show lines? A bad bra, maybe? Or are we talking about mom jeans? Well, I have good news for you. Apparently, the whole mom jean thing that we loved in the 90s, they're totally on trend again now. So you are back in high-waisted heaven. Don't you worry. I caught myself feeling some clothing shame a few years ago. I was playing tennis at a club nearby, and I also started using the gym. And I got a few cute tennis skirts, so I felt pretty put together on the court. But when I went into the gym, the way I did in the 80s, I started to notice that I looked a little different. I was wearing t-shirt and stretchy shorts, and everybody else looked much nicer. Nobody was wearing what I was wearing, maybe except a couple of guys. Like, it just hit me. I never noticed it before. Apparently, fitness clothing had changed just a little bit over the past few decades, and everyone looked cute and was wearing fitted, stretchy clothes of one kind or another. Not just the 20-year-olds, but the women my age too. So I don't know what happened, but I missed that memo. So whatever it is, notice if something with your appearance has you worrying about looking old. Remember our work here together. Worry is a feeling that's created by a thought. The thought might be something like, I don't want to look old, or I'm not comfortable looking old, or, oh my God, I look older now than I used to. Try to figure it out. It's not helping you, that's for sure. Worry isn't an emotion that's typically useful, and it's definitely not useful in a situation like this. Awareness is where you have to begin. It all starts with your thinking, creating that space so that you can become a watcher of your thoughts. You can pause, you can notice what's happening, and then you can decide if you like your reasons, because you are creating the feelings, not your mom jeans, not your jowls, and not your wrinkles. Okay, let's move into the next category about worrying about looking your age, perception of aging. Have you heard the expression 50 is the new 30? I thought that sounded a little weird when I first heard it, but then I noticed how old I think of myself as, and it's in my mid-30s. I'm 57. I don't know. What about you? How old do you think of yourself as? Well, I found this study from Michigan State University in 2018 of more than 500,000 Americans, And it shows just how skewed views of aging can be, especially with younger people. That reminds me of when my sons were in high school, actively teaching gymnastics and coaching little kids. One of the 6-year-olds thought that my 17-year-old was 50. He was totally amused by that, as was I. Now, this study was published in Frontiers in Psychology. It's the largest investigation ever done like that about perceptions. Like I said, over 500,000 internet respondents ranging in age from 10 to 89 took part. And a key finding was that people's perception of old age changes as they age. So essentially, the older we get, the younger we feel. This is definitely the experience that I'm noticing in my community. Our perceptions of aging change as we change. I'm sure you see this in yourself too. What you used to think of as old just isn't old anymore. When I was in my 20s, I thought 50 was old. Well, that's not what I think anymore. Now that I'm in my 50s, I've caught myself thinking that 80 seems kind of old. But then when I'm confronted with someone that actual age who doesn't seem that old to me at all, then I get all confused. I have to question my thoughts. They're energetic. They still do cool things. Some of them run. They love to learn. They're fun to talk to. Like, they're active. Not all 80-year-olds are the same. Not all 90-year-olds are the same. Like, Facebook is one of those. Sometimes I really like Facebook. And I love watching those inspirational stories. And I think I've shared with you before, if it's about dog rescue or rescue elephants, I am in. And oh my God, the drones of whale footage, amazing. But anyway, I digress. I love hearing these inspirational stories about older women doing amazing things. I've seen so many of them lately, and it really turns your thoughts about aging upside down. It really does. There are so many people of all ages doing amazing things. And it's a reminder that age or feeling old really is all in your head. Has this happened to you? One of the times I actually ate my words, or my thoughts to be more specific, was about 10 or 15 years ago at a big holiday dinner. There was a long table full of family and also some people I didn't know. And I was seated next to an older woman that I'd never met, and I made an assumption that she would not be a fun person to sit next to all night. I am actually embarrassed to admit this. I realized within about 5 minutes that I couldn't have been more wrong. She was wearing really cool jewelry and had just returned from a safari in Africa. I loved meeting her. I had the best time, and clearly, I also had the best seat in the house. Who knew? I also learned a valuable lesson about the importance of perception when it comes to aging. I have a feeling that this amazing woman is the poster child for this research, that the older you get, the younger you feel. Be on the lookout for your thinking about aging. You may have a bunch of thoughts, just like I did, that really need your supervision and attention. You may surprise yourself. Okay, we've talked about appearance and also about perception as they related to looking old. Now, let's talk about the third category, reinvention, or specifically the need for reinvention and how it relates to looking old. The definition of reinvention is the action or process through which something is changed so much that it appears to be entirely new. I just love this concept. And it's something that is incredibly common with my clients. I myself also experienced reinvention, and I have to tell you, it was something that I didn't see coming. I was feeling so stagnant, like I hadn't learned anything new in years, like I wasn't excited about doing what I was doing anymore professionally, that I'd settled into thinking about seniority more than growth. That felt old to me. Not changing anything up for about 3 decades looked old to me. I couldn't believe that I'd been working there for that long either. I associated longevity with my age, and it all felt old. Now, regarding reinvention, I didn't know how much I wanted it or needed it at all. I was completely clued out, but I was craving it. I was craving something substantial and new in one way or another. I was craving change. I was craving learning. I was craving growth. I was craving reinvention. It was palpable. I can see it now, but when I was in it, all I could feel was confusion and fear. Does this resonate with you? Reinvention would never have occurred to me. I was thinking about a new job, but that was it. Like, I really didn't think about it as a whole new overhaul, like total reinvention. But when I dipped my toe into experiencing the change, for me, it was training as a life coach and being introduced to the world of mindfulness. I had a strong feeling of release, like being untethered. Now, do you remember the village people in the YMCA dance? I felt like the Y. I'm serious though. That's how I felt, like free, like my hands were over my head outstretched. I felt free. I had so much energy and forward momentum again after 27 years in the same sort of career. I've coached so many women on this exact topic, and if you listen to many of the Women in the Middle podcast interviews, you will notice this theme. Thinking about reinvention is scary. Reinventing yourself in midlife is glorious. I really believe there's incredible opportunity waiting for you in your next chapter. Reinventing yourself can bring you so much happiness. You'll likely wonder what took you so long. The other thing that's so amazing about challenging yourself like this is that at our age, we're likely to be more purpose-driven than ever before. So when you add up this equation, you've got purpose plus reinvention. What do you think you'll likely create? Something amazing. That's what. You'll probably even change the world or your small part of it. It is unbelievable what can happen once you get out of your own way, once you challenge your beliefs about what you can do instead of what you can't do, and work on your mindset to believe that you're worth this kind of investment. Yes, ma'am. As a woman in the middle, I'm counting on you to take care of business, your business, which is really your life's work. And it's the road to no regrets, to regret-proofing your life. You're older and wiser and ready to meet the incredibly interesting, better version of yourself. Now, I really wanted to give you some perspective today about worrying about looking your age. So first, appearance is something many of us like to think about, whether it's our skin, our clothes, our hair. Perception is something we often think about, how we perceive our age, our mindset, and our beliefs about aging and what it all means. And then there's reinvention, and that's something we tend to think about too, and how it relates to looking our age, our need for reinvention. It's something that can be greatly needed when we're older and we've been doing the same thing for a long time and we just aren't growing anymore. That's what I have for you today. I hope that really helps you, stop worrying so much about your age and what you look like and what it looks like and what it all is. Age is just a number, and what you make it mean is in your mind. All right, that's it for today's episode. My focus as a midlife coach is to help you waste less time spinning and feeling stuck. It's time to get excited about your life again, for sure. Being the queen of your brain domain, tiara and all, is the best way to be. Check out the show notes with more information and links at SusieRosenstein.com. Download my free guide, 9 Secrets to Get Unstuck in Your 50s, at www.SusieRosenstein.com/9 secrets. Want to connect more with me in the future? Awesome. Join the free Women in the Middle community Facebook group where we continue the podcast conversation. Head over to facebook.com/groups/Women in the Middle community. And if you're ready to finally put yourself first, you can become a first lady. Join my new midlife membership, the Finally First Club. This is an upbeat virtual community for midlife women just like you who want to stop feeling stuck and confused and finally start making the changes you want in your next chapter. The clarity, courage, and connection you're looking for is only one click away. So join us there now. We're waiting for you. Head over to www.IamFinallyFirst.com. Let's do this, ladies. It's time for you to put yourself first, one thought at a time. Thanks so much for listening, and I will talk to you next week.